Hi everybody, welcome to Axminster Tools. My name's Colwin. We're here today to look at wood turning centres, and we're going to break them up into two categories: headstock centres, otherwise known as dead centres, and then tailstock centres, known as live centres. So let's have a look at greater detail at what they can do and the projects you can use them on. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at drive centres. Now our drive centres are designed to take the power from the motor to the project piece to actually create that motion ready for you to turn. Okay, so let's start with our drive centres. We're going to start here with the 4-prong drive. These are also available as 2-prong drive, and we've got the 1 and the 2 Morse taper. Most drive centres have different sizes within their range, and here you can see that demonstrated by the jumbo drive. So they're the common ones, the most standard that we have. Then I would say we could start moving up to things like pro drives. Pro drives are the next step on from 4-prong really. They have spurs instead of prongs, and they have a sprung centre. Again, available in different sizes for different sizes of project. And that's really where you're going to get these different sizes, or why you would need a different size. If you're turning a big piece, you have a big centre, a small piece on a small centre. From there, we can then start looking at specific drives. So this particular one here is a normal 4-prong drive, but in the centre, you've got a 5/16 bar, and that runs at the centre of an auger hole if you were turning, say, things like a table lamp. So that's just a drive for table lamps. And then we'll move on to things like friction drives, or safety centres is another word for those. This particular one here is a ring centre. It's got a little spur in the middle and then a ring running around the outside. Really, really good for those things, smaller projects. If you're unsure about your turning, practicing skew work, if children are doing the turning, then this is a lovely safety centre. If you get a catch or a dig in, then everything stops, but the centre can continue moving. Okay, so moving on to our live or tailstock centres. The reason they're called live is because they actually rotate with the work. So the top of the centre will move, carrying the work as you turn. We're going to start again at the standard side. So here we just got a standard tailstock centre, single point on 2 bearings. And again, like I said earlier, available in a 1 or 2 Morse taper and in differing sizes. We'll then move on up to the pro drives, the same as the drive centres, but a live version, so they rotate, and same size difference as well, again, small projects or larger projects. And then if you can't decide what centre you want, what tailstock centre you want, then a multi-head is available, and they have 6 different centres that you can swap out and put different centres into the actual main body. Then on to specific centres again. This one is a long hole boring centre. This is completely hollow, and this will carry your timber as you bore up through the centre using an auger. And then lastly, on to the ring centre, a matched centre for the centre we were looking at earlier on the drive side, which would be the friction or safety centre. This is a matched centre to it, basically meaning that the profile is exactly the same. However, being a live centre, you have the bearings in there and it rotates. So here we are, we're using the hollow live centre with chip ejector. This is really, really good for your long hole boring. The chips come out of those holes really swiftly, really, really nice to use, and comes with 2 pronged centres. Those centres centre up, that creates the ring then with the live centre itself, and you're away to bore. So there we are. Once you've done the first half of your lamp, you turn them over and then use the counterbore as the drive. And the counterbore has that section in the centre which slots up through the hole you've already bored, and you're away to bore the other side now. Okay, so here we are, the 2 pro drives. I'm using these in pairs here. This is the 21mm versions. And we're just doing a bit of simple turning, a bit of 3x3, but you get real security with these. They're really, really big centres, especially good for wet timber, for large pieces, if you're doing a hollow form, that sort of thing. Okay, so the 2 ring centres, you can use these individually or you can use them as a pair as I am here. The drive centre itself is especially good for learning to turn, learning to use the skew. Some of those chisels that you may be struggling with, if you have a catch, then everything stops bar the centre. And of course that ring around the outside means it's really secure, it doesn't split the timber if you're using small pieces like we are in this case. So here we have the multi-head live centre. Now there's 6 different types of centre available to mount in this centre itself. We're using the small version here just for a very, very small live centre where I want to be able to turn down those tiny, tiny pieces. So here we are, we're on to what we would refer to as standard centres. That's a 25mm or inch 4-prong drive and a standard tailstock centre. Good all-rounders, pretty much supplied with most lathes that you're going to get now. Like I say, good for most work and good for when you're starting out. So there we are, there's an insight into the Axminster wood turning centres. That's just a small selection of what we have to offer, so go to the website axminstertools.com to see what else is there.